together tonight, we ask that you give us leadership ability, give us knowledge, help us to make the right decisions, leave the board, and the people that work for the city, help them every day to do the right thing. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman French.
Here.
Alderman Hawkins is absent. Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wilson. Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Elam.
Here.
Do I hear an approval of the minutes of June 1st?
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Call roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Any correspondence? Okay, any comments from the citizens? Come and state your name and address. Any comment?
My name is Diana Smith. I'm living at 373 Dogwood Drive. And I just wanted to come before you all and say thank you so very much for the resources, both financial and otherwise, that you portioned for taking the S-curve out of Dover. It's really wonderful, and I appreciate very much too if you pass on to the owners that were also involved in that process my appreciation for whatever kind of consideration they afforded to the residents of Manchester to be able to do that. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You're so encouraging, always.
Well, let me tell you, it's wonderful not having to go through that S-curve.
Okay, I would, Jerome Burgess' son was in a wreck this morning. In case you haven't heard, he was airlifted, had severe injuries, and I would just like everyone to continue to pray for that young man. He's an outstanding football player, and just they don't know the extent. The last I've heard, the extent of the spinal injuries, and just we need to keep this family in our prayers. Okay, we'll get into the committees and commissions.
You got one more out there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm back.
Hey,
As usual,
you didn't see you sitting.
I'm so confused.
I didn't see you sitting there. State your name and
Peggy
address.
Crawley, 20 South Street. I'm probably again at the wrong meeting for the wrong source, but I'm going to try it again. Can I address something about the city park at this meeting?
It's comments from citizens. Just
Okay. I was in the park, I'm often in it, but I came across a gentleman that had picked up a small pouch, zippered small pouch, and he was looking through it, and he's, you know where the brick thing is, where somebody painted real pretty dragonfly, not the bees, but the other one. Okay, it's over by the rec center, that area. Anyways, the kids sit up there or whatever, but this man picked his pouch up, and he opened it, looked it thoroughly through, and I have a photo. He left it, he set it up there. Instead of disposing, he set it up there. My curiosity got me. I had to go in and see what it was. So I walked up there, I looked it over, I have a picture of it. I opened it up, there's 2 syringe needles, there's a spoon, there's what appears probably, it's a white powder, it's not rocks. I'm thinking it's by heroin. A pipe, there were several things in this. I was scared to death to even have it in my hand. I did locate the police department on non-emergency to come out and take it from me. But the fact is, there is no cameras in that park. None. They say there is, but there's not. And I would really encourage, if nothing, if we could just find a little money somewhere to install 2 cameras on each side of the park because the taxpayers are paying for the damages people are doing in there, along with the city, and the workers are having to stop what they're doing to take care of the repairs. It's a lot of work on the city, and I have said before, I thought they were a little overpaid. Maybe they're not, but this is a serious thing to me. And the other issue is over, we've talked about this at the Ninja Park. They've already broke the barrier that was put there, the plastic barrier. And from what I'm understanding is where the fence is in front of that old school that goes down into the Ninja Park, part of it belongs to the county, part of it belongs to the city. Well, where the fence is, it does not go across from stopping people going in there. Apparently, because the county owns that fence, the city's got their hands tied. So people can still go into this Ninja Park that is very unsafe. There's no barriers again, they're all been torn down. I know you can only do so much for people vandalizing, but these cameras were in place. I am begging the board, please, think seriously about cameras so we can cut down the cost of the vandalism. And people see that, they think, oh, there's cameras, they know there's not. So with all the money that's going on in this park, could we please, I'm asking you very seriously, could we please think about some cameras?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to meet Thursday with the rec department who is sitting here right now. We'll talk about that, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
Any more comments from the citizens? Okay, we'll get into committees and commissions report, safety. Okay. Finance.
Nothing to report. Next meeting is August 2nd.
Street.
Oh, we'll have something to bring up under new business.
Okay, all right, tonight, on new business, thank you. Water and sewer.
We do not have a meeting Thursday.
Recreation.
You got anything, AJ?
We do not have a July meeting. Our next meeting will be August 19th at noon.
Oh, okay.
And again, AJ, welcome as the new director of rec, and also Becky Johnson as assistant. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
I want to commend you, Mayor, on the process that we went through to find director and assistant director for the Parks and Rec. A brand new way of doing things in Manchester, and I really appreciate it. It was a great process. It produced exactly what we need for our rec center, and it was awesome. Thank you.
Well, it was a team effort, I'll say that. Tourism, she's not here tonight. Planning and zoning.
Jamie here?
No.
We get so much plans on it, I don't have a clue. Scott, you here? Oh, there you go, Jamie. I'm sorry. You have anything you want to say?
Nothing new to report.
Thank you. Okay, also, information system,
Nothing to report.
historic zoning.
I don't think we did anything this time.
All right. We'll move right along into resolutions and ordinances.
Madam Mayor, first thing I have is a resolution approving agreement with Tennessee Development Agency providing the payment to it by the city of Manchester of 5 cents for every 1,000 gallons of water sold. Duration is 3 years, I believe. See, it really continues an existing agreement with them.
I'll make a motion.
In discussion,
So the terms aren't changing. It's just continuing.
The original agreement was in 71 and expires in September.
Yeah.
This one, I think, is either 3 or 4 years. It doesn't last very long, but they're going to try to rework it, I think, in the interim.
Another 4 years.
Yeah, I think this just extends it to 2024, July 2021 to July 2023, 3 more years.
That's the same fees we've always paid.
Yes. Or, yes, I think so. We're paying now, I don't know.
Yes.
any more discussion? We've got a motion and a second. Call roll.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Have a resolution authorizing the sale, providing the details of not to exceed $9,995,000 general obligation refunding bonds, provided for levy of ad valorem taxes in connection therewith.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Nichols.
Aye.
Alderman Elam.
Aye.
Have a resolution authorizing the same, providing the details of not to exceed $4,300,000 general obligation refunding bonds and providing for levy of ad valorem taxes in connection therewith.
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
Any more discussion? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Aye.
Next thing we have an ordinance is I have second reading of an ordinance to amend Municipal Code 12404 relative to temporary use permits. This was discussed at the last meeting, and the version in here reduces it $25 more to $200.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Did I make a motion or did he make a motion?
I thought it was Ryan.
So I'll second it.
Okay. I started saying these both came in at the same time. Surely somebody's going second. Okay, any discussion on this?
Yes, so whenever we started the conversation about this fee, we were talking about it in relation to paying for the fire marshals to go out and do inspections at the farm, at the Bonnery Farm. So the fire marshal, who had never charged, state fire marshal's department, who had never charged for this before, came out with a number and said, this is what we're going to charge you to do this task. At that point, we said, well, we will look at making this fee enough money to cover the cost of that. And I'll take my share of the blame for this. But what happened was, and this, why I say this, bridge is absolutely not Bridget's fault. What happened was, when the budget was projected for this year, rightfully so, the amount that we had in place for this fee obviously was going to create a lot more revenue. That revenue was then budgeted for the year, just like everything else in the budget. So what we've essentially done with this increase is not only paid for the fire marshals, but we've paid for the fire marshals essentially twice. And it wasn't, the conversations in the onset were never intended to do that. It was for this particular revenue mechanism to make enough to cover the fire marshals and probably some ancillaries, some things that we'll have to do here within the city. So I would like for the board to, I would like to lower the amount of this fee in correlation to generate on projected revenue somewhere around $45,000. Versus right now it's projected, I think it's created something like $70,000. And then, like I said, that somehow that was lost in translation at the last meeting, but I can assure everyone, and the mayor can speak to it too. I think we're on the same page. Is that initial conversation was for that to cover the cost of fire marshals, which in all honesty makes sense, right? Because when you get one of these fees, you're creating the need for of a fire examination, so it makes sense for this fee to cover that.
So if we just vote this down, we have to write a new ordinance? Is that what you want to do? Or can we amend this ordinance?
I'd just like to amend the ordinance to the new amount.
Here was one thing that I didn't consider when we were setting this fee is there, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was not just considering how much it was gonna cost the fire marshal, but how much extra would it cost the city? Have we, what we had it set before, was that, are we covering the city? I mean,
So, I think-
that is one thing that I made.
I saw
a mistake
mowing
with
going on
addressing.
out through there already. You know,
Pardon?
we're mowing all the way up through there. A whole nother situation.
So,
The street department, but
I mean, there's other, obviously, property taxes and things like that that are true. This particular fee, it's just in relation to vendors and that's the only, now, I did ask for it to be more than, I think the fire marshal's asking $25,000. Yeah, I mean, I think it needs to be more than that, because I do think there's gonna be some on-takings and, you know, I know when
You're saying it don't need to be 75, is what you're
it
saying?
doesn't need to be 75. Well, this doesn't need to be another
Moneymaker.
moneymaker. It's not, it was, in the conversation around it, surrounding it until the board meeting was never that way. And so I
So what do you
think
think the fee should be? I mean, can we put a number on that?
to make it
You
work,
got that?
at least enough to cover the city.
at 40,000, 45,000, whatever the end result, whatever the number
What's
is.
the permit cost under this?
It's 200 right now.
200 under our existing orders. This amends it to raise it to 200.
And
How much putting on a, thing like that, an extra $100, you're not gonna kill them, and I think we need to cover the city's back.
The $100 would bring in about $30,000 in revenue, is what we currently have. And so by raising it to $200, it's going to double that, about $60,000.
So you're only off $15. That's not a lot of fudge.
So if you want to bring in $45,150,
I'll make a motion that we amend it to $120 fee. 140.
So what that bring in?
What would that bring you?
150 would bring in about 45,000. So you're looking at, it's about 30 vendors, I think. Is it 30 or 300?
About 42,000.
300 vendors. 300 vendors, so.
150 will do that?
140 would bring in 42,000.
So is that the,
So that's a
that's,
little short.
pardon?
That's a little short.
And I apologize, I mean, I wasn't considering, I was thinking of just the cover the fire marshal. I was not considering what it's gonna cost. So I didn't, I take responsibility for not clarifying that, or not understanding that on the front end. So how do we wanna make this, word this?
Would you do 150, that bring 140, I mean, they bring 25?
is there a second to this motion?
There is.
The motion to amend, was there a motion to amend?
Well, we haven't made a motion.
Whose motion to amend made by Alderman French? We can also have a second.
The motion to amend it to, there was a motion of the resolution and then a motion to amend. Okay?
Motion being designed.
We have a second to the motion to amend. Well, we don't have a motion, a second to the motion, so we have to go to the original motion to the resolution.
Another motion.
I make a
Unless,
motion that we raise it to 150, instead of 200.
do I hear a second to that amended motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? So we're amending it, the motion is for 150 to amend that. Okay? Any more discussion?
I just think we were leaving 200 alone.
Is that just Mount View?
Okay, we've got a motion for 150 and a second. Any more discussion on this part of the amendment?
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols.
No.
Alderman Elam.
Okay, so we'll go, any more? We'll go to the original, yes. So do I hear a discussion on the original resolution?
I just want to make clear, this is not backtracking. This was a mistake that was made. I just want to make that clear. So however way it ends up, I just really wanted to reiterate that.
I didn't think anything about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to, for the record, say you should have something right now.
And you know, I admit that I made a mistake as well. I did clarify that and didn't understand it. Okay, any more discussion on this?
Alderman French.
No.
Alderman Bellamy.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Nichols.
No.
Alderman Elam.
No.
All right, second reading of an ordinance zoning the portion of the property owned by New Era Farms LLC recently annexed to the city as C3 commercial.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Second reading of an ordinance zoning the portion of the property owned by New Era Farms 2 recently annexed to the city as C3 commercial.
Any discussion? I mean, do I hear a motion? I'm sorry. Do I hear a motion?
Nope. Second.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
I have second reading of an ordinance zoning the portion of the property owned by New Era Farms LLC recently annexed to the city as R1 residential.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Call roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
First reading of an ordinance amending Title 14, Chapter 6, Sections 1 and 2 of the Manchester Municipal Code, the same amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Manchester to amend that ordinance and zoning map to provide that real estate owned by Avira, Patra, and wife Dahlia Ghosh located on Peregrine Lane, Big Zone is R4 residential from R3 residential.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman French.
I'm sorry. I'm still overthinking. No, right now. Is it too late? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it too late?
I'll let you
I
back.
just want to ask the planning commission, is there anything unusual about this one?
They had it rezoned to R3 recently, and they wanted to do their plans are to do a quadruplex. And so they've decided, and in order to do that, they would have to have it zoned R4. So they've asked for it to be rezoned to R4 this time.
Cool.
There's R4 across the street, I believe.
Gotcha.
On the R3, was it to do duplexes
Yes.
initially? And so we're just having,
Appreciate it.
Call roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
First reading of an ordinance amending Title 14, Chapter 6, Sections 1 to the Manchester Municipal Code, the same thing the zoning ordinance of the city of Manchester to amend that old ordinance and zoning map to provide that real estate owned by Lloyd Glenn Chapman located on J.C. Lane be rezoned as R3 residential from C3 commercial.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Okay, we have a downtown improvement grant that there's a resolution to apply for this grant.
I'll make a motion. So that can,
Do you want to see this?
I want to, yeah, so we can have discussion. Second.
This provides up to $150,000, some for property owners that they have to match, and some for the city to apply for. As drafted, it includes $50,000 that the city is applying for, which would require the city to match that to the tune of $12,500 to do some irrigation improvements. I think Mr. St. John's looked at, and some screening for the trash receptacles or recycling receptacles behind City Hall. And maybe some other places, but material to the city's liability, it would obligate the city to pay the 12.5 match for approximately $50,000 for the city's part. The other part is to private entities, they would have to pay the match. That's the final one, we'll be happy to.
Well, I will add some context to this. So when there was the downtowns grant, it was a $15,000 match grant. And the way that worked was, it was $15,000 that came from the Main Street program, and they opened up, basically you submitted a proposal as a business owner, and you could get up to $2,500 towards whatever project that you used it for besides grants, was outside of the building. The number of applications that came in from that needed double the grant money to be able to facilitate all those projects. So instead of turning half those projects away, because they were all great capital improvement projects, the Tourism Commission funded another $15,000 of money, of matching dollars, so they could continue that whole entire project. So that $30,000 ended up somewhere around $130,000 worth of capital improvements for downtown. So the way the private entity matching parts, the way I kind of read it here, there is a precedent for the downtown area supporting this and participating at a pretty high level. That being said, I'd like for that match to be asked to be paid for from the Tourism Commission. I think that makes the most sense. There's already a significant investment from them in that match. Is that something we can include on the front end of the vote, or something we just need to apply first and then worry about the matching funds later?
This allows the city to pay it. It doesn't say from where. We don't know if we'll get it yet or not, but the resolution is drafted to authorize the city to pay it. How the board chooses to apportion that when the time comes is something we can address. Then it probably, I don't know budget-wise what year. It doesn't address that in what prepared.
Can we send a memo to the Tourism Commission saying, requesting that? Well, I mean, that needs to be the board's prerogative. It doesn't need to be just mine.
But we can include that in this report, in this resolution right here.
Yeah, we could add it to be paid out of the tourism appropriations.
And then it's just up to them to fund it, which I don't know why they wouldn't.
Or appropriate $15,000 less.
Well, the appropriations done by formula in the chart. So mention that. So it would be, I don't think it would be any trouble. I just think that's an appropriate place to get it funded from. So my motion, my motion includes that amendment.
we just want to add a sentence to the very end about paying the 12.5 said funds to be paid from the funds apportioned to the Tourism and Community Development Committee.
Is it okay if I make that, Bill, since you second the motion, is it okay if I make that part of my initial motion?
Do we need to read?
Well, I make it, I'm amending that too.
Apply.
Okay.
And now, do we amend it?
Yes, I think on Alderman Nichols' suggestion, Alderman French has made a motion to amend it to add pay from tourism and community development.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
We have. Okay, any discussion before we vote on the amendment to put amended the wording? Any discussion?
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
So we make a motion for the original resolution.
As
We've already done that. We've got initially a motion and a second.
That was the amendment, right?
That was the amendment.
Now we're going to vote on it as amended.
Okay. We voted on the amendment to the resolution, now we're going to vote. Any discussion? Call roll.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Moving right along, Duck River Utility, I make a recommendation for the commission appointment be made by Mike Anderson. I recommend him to the board to be put on the Duck River Commission. Do I hear a motion to approve my appointment, suggested to the board?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Okay, and well, I know her, we all know her as Bud Dale, and that's why I put her on the floor as, for the Historic Zoning Commission appointment. Eugenia, I think is her first name, but we call her Bud Dale. So do I hear a motion to accept my recommendation to the board?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Bellamy. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Any more new business that we're going to brought to the table?
We've got some new business from the street department, and I don't see the lady with the, what's her name, Mike? With the mural. Yeah. So, I mean, we voted to approve that mural in the street department, but she's not here to tell us about it. We'll wait.
I don't think it needs a vote.
We don't have to vote here.
That was going to tourism, the street department.
So it went to tourism for funding.
Right.
But they needed approval from the street department before tourism would fund it.
Okay. So we don't need to do anything here.
Right. You guys approved that it would go on the bridge, so it's going to tourism, so. Any more new business?
Yes, I do. I referenced this, but I would like to, it is a simple change, I'd like to change our fireworks ordinance on the time frame. Right now, you can start purchasing them in June, I think it's early June, you can start purchasing. But there's windows when you can actually shoot the fireworks. And I'd like to move that window when you can shoot the fireworks to include June 19th, because Juneteenth has been made a federal holiday now. So I would like, and I think it's actually The purchase window starts on the 20th, didn't it?
I mean, the purchase them year-round, you can fire them beginning the 20th, so.
Okay. You can fire them again the 20th. So I'd like to extend that up to the 17th, and that way you make accommodations for weekends, however way the holiday will fall. So I just think we need, and I know it's a year away, but just get it done now, and so that way Juneteenth celebrations can also include fireworks.
What's that? If that's a motion, that's
A motion, sure.
Yeah, second.
Any discussion?
Council, is there anything else, I know in conversation, is there anything else that would need to be amended on that? I think it was just a simple 3-day.
I think it's just the days, yes, because I think it says year-round, and then it wouldn't affect the wintertime period, and just move the day forward, and then it stretches through like July the 10th or maybe the 6th or something. I don't already, so it just needs to move the start date, so 17th.
We've got a motion and a second.
Would we need to establish a third zone, a third time frame? Because Juneteenth is going to not be close to the 4th of July. It would need a time frame, would it not?
Well, it already, the way it's written already includes starts the 20th.
That they can shoot on the 20th?
They can start shooting on the 20th under the way it is written right now, so we just moved it back. We just started 3 days prior, and they start shooting them 3 days earlier than they can now, rather than.
I didn't think the window was that long before. That's
I didn't either, but officially asked.
I didn't think the window was that wide. But
I
that's
didn't
fine.
either, but when I looked at it.
Yeah, I thought it was like the day before, 2 days after or something.
I think it would have been that way.
Any more discussion? I think it's good. Pretty much 3 cents worth. I like the idea. Thanks for bringing that to the table. Call roll, please.
Alderman French.
Did you issue any citations for fireworks? Okay, no, sir. Sorry. Again, apologies. Go.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Belding.
Uh,
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Eagle.
Any more new business?
I have something. I just realized that I should have included something in the resolution that I did not. It has nothing to do with the refunding, we're good there. But as part of our discussion that I had with Bridget earlier, I was going to include language in the resolution that did not get included to reimburse yourself for certain capital expenses under the Treasury regulations if y'all wanted to. Basically what that means is if you spend some of your cash for water, sewer, or new radios, or whatever, you would have the opportunity to come back and borrow the money and put it back in your general fund if you decide to do that. So it is not a requirement that you borrow the money, it just gives you the option in the future to do that. So you have like 18 months after you do a project to come back and borrow the money and borrow tax exempt. Y'all have so much uncertainty with where you are and what you're going to spend and how you're going to spend it and what the federal dollars are going to and all that, that we probably should include something like that just to make sure that you are covered in case something comes up. And so I would recommend either you can make a verbal motion and put it in the minutes that of your official intent to do that. I can send Mr. Yule the language after the meeting if you want to do that, or I can have a resolution drafted, which is 1 page, for next month's meeting. It's your call.
We're gonna talk about some stuff next month. I'm gonna introduce a resolution on sidewalks next month. And that's where we'll leave that.
So I can just have the resolution drafted next month, put it on the agenda, y'all can pass it. So it's a very simple 1-page resolution. It's just your official intent under the Treasury regulations to give you the option to reimburse yourself. It does not mandate that you do it. So, but the IRS says you got to have that resolution in your file if you want to go back and pay yourself back. And so it's kind of a housekeeping thing. I just want to make you all aware of it, and I'll get you something for next month's meeting. Thank you.
All right, I'm from the board on the trip.
I've met, but I'm excited about what's going on with the rec farm. Yes, with new leadership and everything. It's a new page. I think we're very smart.
Alderman Bellman?
I just think our city employees do one heck of a good job.
Alderman Messick.
I got that.
I'd just like to thank everybody for turning out, and it's been a good discussion, and I'm so excited about the resolution for the June, the fireworks change in there, and everything else we talked about. And I thank you guys, and I just appreciate you guys, and we'll adjourn and get ready for the your board.
Good evening. For the board's consideration tonight are two requests to approve beer sales permits for off-premise consumption. The first request is from applicant Aaron Wilkinson, Spring, Texas, production manager for facilities, concession services, doing business at Spectrum Catering Events and Concessions. The business is owned by David Smalley, Spring, Texas, who was previously issued an on-premise consumption permit back some time ago after, I think, the annexation of the Monterey property. Tonight, the applicant is requesting the issuance of two off-premises beer permits for two additional store locations on Monterey property. The first location is General Store Number 1. It's located on or near East Broadway Street between East 1st Street and 3rd Avenue. The second location, General Store Number 2, is located on or near 3rd Avenue between 2nd Street and East 3rd Street. The applicant has also provided the lat-long coordinates for each of these two sites. The applicant has produced the documentation required in accordance with Manchester City Ordinance 8-207. The Tennessee criminal history records check on the applicant was conducted through TBI and revealed no criminal history results. The applicant's beer permit request for off-premise consumption was found favorable for the board's consideration tonight.
Make a motion. Second.
Any discussion?
Does our beer license permit require a structure? No.
It requires premises, and they've got, north latitude, west longitude.
Well, I just wondered if it required a building.
No, that does require not for off premises. There's certain sanitation for on premises, but not that requires.
Any more discussion? Call for roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Mayor Howard.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
Okay. Also, for the board's consideration tonight is a request for the approval of a beer sales permit for off-premise consumption by applicant owner Iman Labib of Brentwood, Tennessee. The beer permit was previously issued to Mr. Labib at 2360 Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester under the business name of Star Market 1 LLC. The business structure has since been torn down and removed and a new building erected on the property. The business name has also been changed to To Go Market LLC. The applicant has produced the required documentation in accordance with Manchester City Ordinance 8-207. A Tennessee criminal history records check on the applicant was conducted through TBI and revealed no applicable criminal history results. The applicant's beer permit request for off-premise consumption was found favorable for the board's consideration tonight.
So motion. Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Mayor Howard.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Elam.
That's all right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
So, before you leave, please.